out there.
That jab is so pretty. He needs to just keep it on him, and Villalobos doesn't really know what's coming after it, so he needs to take advantage of that.
He neutralizes him with the jab. Not only is it pretty, it's effective.
Yeah.
It keeps him at bay.
You know, normally Too Sharp is my color analyst here in the Washington, D.C. area on WBC Boxing. And now I'm getting an opportunity to watch Too Sharp in the ring. So it's really sort of weird because you call a fight with a guy. Look at that right there. Mark Too Sharp Johnson with those left hooks to the body. The jab sticking out there with the right hand. He is putting his combinations together. He is an artiste in the ring.
Yes, he is. And that's when he's at his best.
So he needs to step back after he throws a good combination. He needs to step back and start jabbing again, because Villalobos will come right back.
Oh, there it is.
Step back.
That was perhaps the best shot of the night, thrown by Mark Johnson.
He's definitely standing
that right hand.
Standing in the pocket a little too long.
Mark is setting it all up with the jab. He's got a tremendous jab, but he loves to go to the body. He says, no one has an uppercut like me in the middle of the ring. And Mark loves to throw that uppercut. And he hooks and he turns over that right hand and that left hand so effortlessly.
And he's so good at it. He is absolutely, you're absolutely right. He is the best at it.
See, right now, Mark is mixing things up, and I think he's got Paulino Villalobos a little confused because he doesn't know exactly where the punches are coming from. And Antonio said it best. If Mark digs to the body, jumps back, Antonio, as you said, Antonio, Paulino will have nothing to punch at, and he punched that air on both of those combinations.
That's it. I mean, give him lateral movement. Do your thing and give him turns, spinning. Give him angles. But I think Mark is standing in the line of fire a little bit too long. But he'll settle down. He'll get into his fight game.
Why is it that boxers sometimes, Antonio Tarver, become relaxed? Is where you can get in on that one too. I mean, you're the champion. You recognize that the person in the ring with you does not have your skill level. Is it motivating? Is it hard to motivate yourself, I should say, to train sometimes for a lesser opponent?
Well, I mean, it's not hard to get up. You know, as a champion, you have to be prepared for anything and everybody, because anything can happen in the sport. Any one punch can make the night over.
Well, it was a big round, and it's over right now for Mark Too Sharp Johnson, as he put a lot of heavy artillery that time on Paulino Villalobos. You're watching Raging TV, and if you just joined us, she is still the champion. Nikki Eplon got knocked out in round number 4, went down 4 times between round 3 and 4, and was stopped by Laila. She be stinging Ali. Ali up to record 2-17-0 with 14 knockouts. Tonight's fight is being brought to you by our great friends at Corona Beer. Corona does it well. And of course, you know it's all about fightnews.com, and also Hovo Sports and Raging TV. And you're watching Raging TV tonight on pay-per-view. And we're glad you could join us. Interesting fight right now between Mark Too Sharp Johnson and Paulino Villalobos. And you've got to wonder whether or not Paulino is either going to get tired or whether or not Mark is going to turn up the heat.
Well, you know, I was watching Villalobos' corner, and he looked like he was a little tired leaning on that Corona sign. You know, he looked a little winded. He was breathing hard. But you never know with the sport. He might be faking it just for Mark's sake. But Mark will probably turn it up real soon.
You know, that can go both ways. Also, you touched on how it can affect a fighter of Mark Too Sharp's status. Getting up for a guy like this, he may have taken his training lightly. He may have not trained as hard or conditioned himself as great as he probably would otherwise.
It's like this, Antonio. Mark Too Sharp Johnson wins this fight. Let's not sugarcoat it. We're going to say, so what? Okay? He took on Paulino Villalobos, a guy 23 and 24 prior to this fight. However, if Villalobos wins this fight, he beat a man in the history books, Mark Too Sharp Johnson. So it's easier for him when he's in the gym. Who are you going to fight next? I'm going to fight Mark Too Sharp Johnson. I'm training like all get out because I want to get it done.
Yeah, it gets no bigger in this weight class than smaller weight guys. Mark Too Sharp Johnson is the king, and I know this guy has trained as long as he could have trained at a high level.
You know, Mark, in the interview, in the pre-interview, Mark Johnson said that, you know, Mark Johnson has everything to lose. Paulino doesn't, and he's absolutely right. You know, as a champion, you have everything to lose when you have somebody that you're trying to do a tune-up with, that comes and brings everything they've got into the ring with you, and you have to train for every fight like it's the last one or it's a championship fight, regardless of who it is.
They call him Too Sharp, Mark Too Sharp Johnson. Barbershop owner, car owner, businessman extraordinaire here in the Washington, D.C. area.
Commentator. He's a man of all trades.
I love it when he drops that short left hand, Antonio. It's such a wicked punch, and he can bring it from so many angles. The other good thing about him is that he has tremendous balance. See, Mark puts himself in position to throw those wicked left hooks and uppercuts. Kenny Xavier says it was a pretty low punch that time. I tend to disagree. I think Mark was right on the belt line.
Oh yeah, when he's in his rhythm, I mean, there's no one greater than Mark Too Sharp Johnson. He's only had 1 or 2 bad nights, but overall, I mean, he's just a classic fighter. He's a throwback.
Now I was talking to Nate Campbell, who's got a big fight coming up on the 31st, who's down in California. Nate, I of course told you I would get a shout out to you. He is a big Mark Too Sharp Johnson fan. When I told him I had Mark's number, you would have thought Cinderella was on the other line the way Nate Campbell was getting off. I was like, ooh-wee, Nate, you really getting excited.
And I think Mark has that aura about himself throughout the boxing game. I also has watched many of tapes of Mark Too Sharp Johnson, and just like I said before, has been an aura with the guy craftiness, and he's a smart fighter. He's a thinking fighter in that ring, and you can see him thinking.
Oh, he definitely
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
He definitely thinks about everything he throws. They're just trading right now in the middle of the ring. That was a 5-hook combination.
And you know what was so interesting about it? Carlino was still throwing punches.
Yes, he was.
I tell you what, my hat goes off to these two guys. And they're getting it done. They're getting it done. It's getting a little feisty out there. Mark wants to put on a show. As much as Mark wants to deny it, he wants to put on a show. He wants to do his thing in this boxing ring. Mark Too Sharp Johnson. We hope you're enjoying the fight all around the world and across the country. And, of course, it's been a great night of boxing brought to you by Raging Promotions and Raging TV. We're coming to you live from Bowie Baysox Stadium, just outside of Bowie, Maryland. They call it Prince George's County. And the Baysox may not be having the type of season they wanted to have. Double-A baseball team. They say it's boxing at the ballpark. And for all of our great folks and Al Chuck giving us these beautiful shots, we thank you. There's Ham Johnson, the father of Mark Too Sharp Johnson, trainer. They have been together a lifetime. He says Daddy took him to the gym when he was 5 years old. He hasn't left.
That's a long time, absolutely. They're a great combination together.
Man, Antonio, you were talking about coming back in November or December. Any names? Who you want?
I mean,
I'm too old. I'm on 45. I'm too old.
And I'm retired.
My last fight was in light heavyweight in Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah?
That's right.
Well, as you know, it's been a lot of talk on the internet sites. Everybody want to get a piece of the Magic Man right now. So, I just want to take my time, make the right choice. I want to just definitely capitalize on my great win over Roy Jones Jr. But I can tell you that I want to continue to bring the big fights to the fans. I want to continue to be a pay-per-view fighter. So in order to be a pay-per-view fighter, you have to fight the big names. So look for something real big in the month of November, December from the Magic Man.
All right, man, look. Act like this is magic. Nobody's listening. Tell me in my ear who you're going to fight.
They're both playing with each other right now.
Yes, they are. They're playing with each other. They're entertaining. And I'm talking Mark Too Sharp Johnson and Paulino Villalobos. Paulino is not intimidated by Mark, and it's quite evident.
Not at all. I mean, he's landed some big shots. He feels that, hey, if he can get lucky tonight, he can turn the tide on Too Sharp Johnson.
Mark Too Sharp Johnson with his lateral movement, moving side to side. Paulino likes that. He gets Mark up against the ropes. Mark finds a way to get out of there. Now you see me, now you don't.
About my hit list. Bernard Hopkins been talking after De La Hoya. He said on another network that he was going to knock me out. I'm going to have a bout agreement for him after that fight if he's fortunate enough to get by De La Hoya, and we're going to see if the man going to walk the walk and talk the talk.
How hard is it walking around at 205 to come down to that weight?
Well, it's not hard at all. I do it on like maybe a 3-month plan. I diet, you know, I eat right and I train hard, you know. So it's a blessing. I have a sweet science to it.
Okay.
It doesn't hurt me at all.
Okay, well, that's good because I know a lot of people come down and wait so much before their fights, and it really hurts them when they're in the ring.
It can hurt some people, but if you do it slow and gradually and you do it right, correctly by working hard, getting yourself in real good shape, rather than just